It's my birthday, and I'll cry if I want to. It's my... sorry. Welcome to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. And yes, I'm back. It's my birthday. I'm happy to be here with you folks on the Lanterns Radio Network. So, big changes coming to Lanterns Radio Network, or to Common Sense Radio. Susan will no longer be part of the show. She has her own show now with a different gentleman. And I wish her nothing but the utmost success. She's bright. She articulates very, very well. And Common Sense Radio is going to look completely different here heading down the road. We're going to do a lot of in your throat kind of topics. Go out to different. I'm going to be traveling to around the area to cover stuff that's in this area. I'm going to cover local, national, you name it. I'm going to be covering it. So what I want to cover tonight is the news on the weekend, the immigration debate that keeps going on and on and on, and the Pride Parade in New York City, and they're all over the United States. But you know what? This weekend has been just crazy for me. I found a wonderful website that you all will be happy that I found for you. It is called TrumpTracking.org. It's a Trump tracker, and Planned Parenthood are the ones behind this website that they're keeping track of everything that the president is doing. And it's, to me, it's kind of absurd that you have an organization like Planned Parenthood who they can spend their money however they want. Oh wait, no, they get millions upon millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars. So no, they shouldn't be spending their money like this, in my personal opinion. That's just me. But I signed up to receive some updates from them, and it's quite interesting. Dear AJ, thanks for signing up. You can help make an even bigger difference by showing your support for Planned Parenthood and asking your friends and family to join you. Ooh. And then it scrolls down. You can also help out by making a tax-deductible gift to Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Your support will help us stand strong in the face of continued attacks on reproductive health and rights, and support Planned Parenthood's health centers and providing, and this is the thing that got me, providing vital care. Because of vital care, birth control, cancer screening, absolutely vital care. But abortion services and more? So what are those last two things? Abortion services and more. Well, I see abortions as murder myself, and more. Is that in the news we've seen a lot about abuse that's been happening in Planned Parenthood. Is that what it's for? The abuse that's happening there? And oh goodness, here, TrumpTracking.org. I'm sorry, did I? I'm trying to find this. It's an absolutely fantastic. I mean, this site are talking about how many days in office. 37 of 174. What does he have broken now? I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and it's about protecting the rights of murdering babies. I don't understand why we want to do something like that. To me, it's pretty absurd. I wonder if it... Anyways, the next thing that happened over the weekend, the incident with Sarah Huckabee Sanders at the Red Hen in Virginia. And Virginia is my stomping grounds. Virginia used to be, I've been out of Virginia for over 10 years, but whenever I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, I graduated high school in 2003, it was a pretty right-leaning state, you know. I don't know what's happened to the state now. It's pretty sad to see everything that is transpiring there. But it's not just there. It's all over the United States. So Friday or Saturday night, I don't even know. Let's see. Doing Sarah's Huckabee last night. Yeah, June 22nd, the press secretary went to Red Hen in Lexington, Virginia. And you've probably seen this all over the news, and I'm not sure you're going to like my perspective. If you're listening to this, you probably will. Well, I support Red Hen and doing whatever they want. Just like I support the bakers. I mean, I saw a hilarious tweet that I just made me almost pee my pants. Ben Shapiro retweeted Sarah Huckabee Sanders' tweet and says, "Bake the beet risotto, you bigot." You know, I mean, if they don't want you in there, you know, obviously the owner or co-owner of this business went up to Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her husband while they were eating and asked them to leave the business because one of the chefs had called the owner and said that the employees don't feel right of having her there. And they took a vote and everybody wanted her to be taken out. And this lady has integrity. Where's the left at? Up in arms for Sarah Huckabee Sanders. What about the war on women? Are you kidding me? It's insane to me, the hypocrisy, the consistency. That's why it's so important to be consistent. If you supported the baker in Oregon, and I'm right here in Oregon right now, Melissa Klein and her husband with Klein's Bakery, if you supported them and that they should be able to turn down business due to their religious beliefs, well, then you should be supporting Red Hen in Virginia to let the free market take it. If they want to deny service to someone based off who they work for, they have 100. They're 100%. They're able to do that. I support that if they want to. Okay. And one of my friends, Jonathan Dunn, over at Freedom's Disciple, you know, he tweeted out, "I support the right of #Red Hen to refuse service. I support the right of people now to buy more or avoid Red Hen." I mean, 100%. Because I question the intelligence of any business to potentially lose 50% of potential business. I support their right to run their business as they wish. Heck, if they want to run it into bankruptcy, run it into bankruptcy. Who cares? So I have a normal Monday through Friday job. I also have a side business where I mow elderly people's yards, and I do different kinds of yard work for other people. I've worked for gay couples. I've worked for people with completely opposite views of me. I worked for a lady where she didn't want me to continue providing a service because a couple weeks before we got into a conversation about Trump, and I'm just calling balls and strikes, and this was probably over a year ago. She told me she didn't want me to continue service because she thought I didn't have enough time for her. Yet I had been working for her for anywhere from 2 to 3 years, and we got into a conversation about Trump and North Korea, and I can't remember exactly how that conversation went, but like I said, it was over a year ago. But I just instantly in this Red Hen situation, that came to my mind. A lot of people refuse to do business with people with different opinions. And I just sit here and I think, why is that? For me, I'm a capitalist, and I'm going to mow anyone's yard that wants to hire me and pay me cash. I have no problem doing that. I really don't. I have zero problem doing that. I enjoy doing it. It's kind of therapeutic for me. But if something did cross my religious, my faith, my personal beliefs that rub me the wrong way, I wouldn't, and that's my right to. That's my constitutional right. My American right, my freedom. That's why we push for freedom so much. Man, and people are all up in arms. Tribalism is running rapid on the right, on the left about this situation. And to me, it's something that we need to really address head on. We need to talk with people of different views. I have a goal that I've been trying to reach out to more people that have opposite views of me to engage. I mean, in the future, I have a show with a public school teacher that we both have different views. He's a friend of mine, and we're going to create a list of topics that we're going to go back and forth. And I think it's going to be really good content, and I'm looking forward to that in the future. And one thing I really want to do is bring a lot of the Lanterneers on and talk about their experiences in their respective states about different topics. But let's shift over here. Actually, right here, let's go ahead and take a break. And on the other side, I have an incredible piece of audio that's going to make your head spin, and it's all about the immigration. So let's go ahead. Let's take a break here. I know it's a little early, but let's go ahead and take a break because I want to dive into this immigration, and I need all the time I can get. So stick around.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
In every rising of the sun, my purpose was to be thankful to be alive. I was even more thankful for the blessings that came with this life, specifically Virdis, my wife. But that came to an end when Aklavane and her minions violently took her away from me. So my new purpose in this life is to gather all the pieces of the Stone's Heart so I can defeat Aklavane and get back my bride. Join me as I travel to new worlds, making new friends and avoiding old enemies. Read more about my story in the first 2 books of the Stone's Heart series, which are now available on Amazon.com in Kindle format. The first book is The Quest for Savit Varda, and that is followed by The Heart of Pagaila. Stone's Heart is more than a fantasy and a sci-fi quest. It's me fighting to get back my precious wife, despite the overwhelming odds against me. Stone's Heart. Join, explore, and believe.
And welcome back to the program, folks. AJ Davis here. And like I said on the other side of the break, I have a piece of audio from Secretary Jay Johnson. He is the former Homeland Security Secretary under President Obama. And he was on one of the talk shows with Chris Wallace. I don't know, what is that, Fox Sunday News? I don't watch cable news very much. And they're talking immigration, and I want you to take a listen to this.
In some, you separated children from their parents, and these pictures that we're putting up from 2014 show pictures of unaccompanied minors in effect, jail situations. As you look back on that, did you handle it so well?
Well, Chris, without a doubt, the images and the reality from 2014, just like 2018, are not pretty. And so we expanded family detention. We had then 34,000 beds for family detention, only 95 of 34,000 equipped to deal with families. So we expanded it. I freely admit it was controversial, We believed it was necessary at the time. I still believe it is necessary to maintain a certain capability for families. We can't have catch and release. And in my 3 years, we deported or repatriated or returned over 1 million people. But again, you can deal with this on the border. You can try different things. We did not want to go so far as separate families, but unless we deal with the underlying causes that are motivating people to come here in the first place, we're going to continue to bang our heads against the wall on this issue.
Yes. Pardon me. We are going to continue to bang our heads on the wall on this issue. I just don't see this piece of audio or this clip circumventing the World Wide Web. And this should be all over. That the current administration are not the ones that started this. Secretary Johnson, or former Secretary Jay Johnson, had just said that the Obama administration in 2014 had the same issue that they're having now. They can't catch and release. Oh my goodness. And then you have a Representative Maxine Waters who is out at an event this weekend screaming at supporters, encouraging them that the members of the Trump administration should get, quote, pushback, end quote, for supporting the government's immigration policy that separates children from family on the Mexican border. Oh, also you have another wonderful politician, but this politician south of the border, a guy running for president in Mexico, encouraging the Mexican people all to have mass migration to the United States to protest being a United States citizen because it's a human right. Yeah, let that sink in. Let that sink in. Yeah, politicians, not only in the United States, but in Mexico, encouraging this kind of violence. I mean, over the weekend, you got a Border Patrol agent hurt for protesters organizing to take on an ICE detainment center. I mean, from right here until the election, it's going to be absolutely madness. I mean, it's crazy already in Oregon. I live about, 25-30 minutes from a place called Sheridan, Oregon, where they have a federal prison facility. And it's just been going nuts over here with, you got Ron Wyden, Jeff Merkley, Suzanne Bonamici. What's the weird guy in Portland that always wears a bow tie? What's his name? I'm losing it. Earl Blumenauer. Yeah, the guy that breaks down at a press conference about these children. And hey, I don't want, if these stories are true, what happened to children, shame on the United States. Shame on anyone down there that are letting children be treated bad. But here is the thing. The cartel, human smugglers, will play this game to help advance their agenda. So that's why I'm so skeptical on a lot of things. But back to those politicians. They came down to Sheridan and held many press conferences demanding the release of these illegal aliens. And there's about 100 of them. The group says there's 121, but the prison in Sheridan where there's more than 100. I mean, there's no specific number, and that's meaningless. But the one thing that these immigrants are seeking asylum, as they're being told by the traffickers to do, or what I don't know how they would. how they go about. I mean, is it the human traffickers? Is it the coyotes that are bringing people? I mean, we have to do something to fix this situation. But Sunday, June 24th, yesterday, faith groups are hosting Sunday service outside the federal prison in Oregon, holding ICE detainees. Oh, that's the new term, ICE detainees. Well, I'm not going to use that. I can promise you that. Let me read this to you. Some faith communities in Oregon are holding their Sunday service outside of a federal prison in Sheridan, where more than 100 undocumented immigrants seek asylum are being held. On Saturday, leaders of Sikh and Christian clergy went to the facility in an attempt to connect with those detainees, but they were refused entry at the gate with no clear answers as to a timeline or a process for future access. Yeah, you're not going to get access into a federal penitentiary when you have no business being there. Side note, I went for an interview at this exact prison 9-10 years ago for being a guard. It was when all the budget cuts, federal government were taking place, the crash of 2008. So it was about 10 years ago. I'll tell you what, I'd never been in a prison in my life before that. But they scanned me from head to toe, make sure I wasn't bringing anything in. And then they put me in a room and locked me in there to do tests, interview, all these kinds of questions. And then got me the heck out of there. I didn't see anything when I was in this, I guess you would say, job perspective. I mean, it was pretty intense. So, yeah, they're not going to let you guys come into a prison just because you show up. I mean, that's absurd to me. But more than 250 clergy across the state have signed a letter to ICE and the warden of the Sheridan facility urging them to allow for culturally and linguistically appropriate religious services. Lawyers visited the federal detention center last week and are working to ensure that those detained can talk to their families and get the medical care they need. However, ICE hasn't given assurance that the immigrants will be able to meet with attorneys before they're deported. Okay. Well, first off, they are undocumented, they're ICE detainees. Let me make sure I'm using the proper adjective to describe them. So first off, this goes into an insane thing, and this is katu.com, and I'll share this link, no doubt, because you're going to want to take a look at this article because it will make your tongue hit the ground. I wouldn't even say these are religious groups. They're progressive clergy across the state have signed a letter to make sure they're having appropriate religious services in America. Okay. Make sure the ICE detainees are. And also, they're not going to have a chance to see their attorneys before they're deported. Okay. Well, first off, they broke the law. They came to the United States. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Speakers also talked about the recent ICE policy that led to hundreds of children being separated. There you go. And it doesn't help when President Trump tweeted that people who invade the U.S. must immediately be sent back to their country without judges or any kind of court. Well, here's the thing. Ted Cruz introduced a bill to double the amount of federal judges that we have. They're overloaded. I mean, and if you can't see that, then you might be a little blind. Reuters reported on the 24th, Trump says illegal immigrants should be deported with no judges or court cases. What do you do? What is the answer? I've posted something on my personal Facebook page about, the 750,000 military members that are separated from their families every year for deployments and military operations. And I invited, it got into a heated debate with people I work with and friends on both sides, going back and forth. And my response was, if I don't support that these children are being treated like this, but I also cannot support people breaking the law. We have laws for a reason. And it just got ugly and ugly on there. And I invited, there had to have been a half a dozen people, if not a dozen, on there going back and forth. And I sent the invite. Come on to the program. We can talk. We can discuss this topic live. Because I don't have all the answers. I just don't. I know I'm going to love on the children. And you look at people like Glenn Beck, who went down in 2014 with truckload after truckload with Mercury, the Mercury One charity, to support those communities on the border in Texas that were getting overwhelmed. Where were the cameras in 2014? Where were they? Oh my goodness gracious. But hey, you got crazy Maxine calling for attacks on members of the Trump administration. You've got the president of Mexico encouraging mass migration to the United States to overtake their human rights. I think Steve Dace had it right. Whose dumbest last loses. Whose dumbest last loses. It's and according to a 2017 study by the Pew Research Center, an estimated 11.3 million illegal immigrants are living in the United States. That number, 3.5% of the total population of the U.S., a majority of legal immigrants have lived in the country for over a decade. So what do you do with that many people? They're coming from Central America, where it's a war-torn nation. It's sad. It's absolutely sad that they have to leave. They're just trying to get to America, where the shining star on the hill, the beacon of hope, just to get away from, and I'll use President Trump's language, the animals of people like MS-13, who, what's their motto? Rape, or shoot, rape, kill. I don't blame them, but hey, if you want to come here, do it the right way. And that's what a lot of that conversation on that Facebook post was. And somebody that was open borders pro told me that these people are so poor that they will never be given a chance at the U.S. consulate to even get a visa hearing. It sounds like an issue with the U.S. consulate and the country. Sounds like we don't have enough judges as well. I don't know. You just sit there and it breaks your heart. It really, really does. Well, next thing I want to talk about. This was the weekend of a lot of the pride parades. And I can tell you what, get your permit, have your parade. I'm more of a libertarian when it comes to that. Get government out of marriage. But there was a lot of, I'm just strolling the pride hashtag on Twitter over the weekend. And a lot of it was hateful stuff. And I know, I have friends like Riaz Patel, who's a gay Pakistani Muslim. And I would never see or talk about something of what I saw on Twitter. Well, it's like Dave Rubin says, Twitter is not real life. But, people making derogatory posters like a male saying that I can take any, male genital, but not Donald Trump. Like, really? And you see a lot of other tweets that were coming out that hashtag supporting pride is like supporting resist. Resist, resist, resist. Okay. So, is the Pride Parade been hijacked by Democratic Socialists of America? Have they been hijacked by the Women's March? Have they been... I thought the Pride March in all these cities around the United States were just for supporting equal rights. I mean, I don't see any difference of two gay guys and two gay women. But whenever it's getting morphed into something else and it becomes more political, I think it's something that we all need to sit back and just kind of ignore. Maybe not ignore, but we need to really just not give attention to these hashtag resist people. If the LGBTQ community want to go out once a year and have a parade, I support you 100%. Just whenever I go out to do the March for Lives, support me. Whenever the Christian baker doesn't want to bake a cake, support me there. Riaz has said, I had brought this to his attention. I said, okay, so you and your husband were going to get a cake that you wanted made for your wedding. And the Kleins didn't want to make it. And he would say, well, go somewhere else. Why would I try to destroy them? Because not everybody is thinking like you, Riaz. That's why. You're a smart man. Ugh. So, here's a recap of tonight's show. It's my birthday, and I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Anyways, I'm glad. I'm loving to be behind the microphone. And in the future, Common Sense Radio, for some of you, if you missed the beginning, it's going to be different. It's going to be kind of going back to what originally my mission, my vision of what this program was going to be morphed into. And I've grown. I mean, it's been a crazy 12 to 16 weeks for me personally, with work, with youth. I do a lot of youth coaching, and I love it. But I kind of had just 10 times more this year going than any other year before, where I could handle doing behind the mic. And going forward, I'll make sure I have a plan in place and make sure I'm behind the mic every week. Because I love this. I live for this. I live for coaching sports. I live for being behind the mic. Lanterns is such an important site for the future of bringing news, for bringing opinions. I mean, because this is what it is. It's my personal opinion and what I find that's going to be important to get out to people. Because my show's Mondays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to get you going for the week, Get you thinking. That's all I want to do. I want to get you thinking. I want you to support me. So do me a favor. Like, share, tell a friend about me. And I will see you next week here on Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. God bless you. God bless America.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.